In terms of investment, since we've opened this airport, we've seen a lot more interest in investing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which is a big thing for us in terms of some of the name brand hotels looking to come into St. Vincent and the Grenadines, so we're happy about that. We also opened earlier this year Pink Sands Hotel on Canawan, which is above a 5-star hotel, 60 rooms, but exquisite, something that everybody should see. And then last month we opened Glossy Bay, which is a new marina, state-of-the-art marina on Canawan also. State-of-the-art, nothing like it in the Caribbean. As a matter of fact, they can only 2% of the yachts that are in the world. They can only not take 2% of those yachts. So things are looking up for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we're very happy about the direction we're moving in.
You started off speaking about Argyle Airport. I know the project started in 2008, and there were several setbacks. Now you're all excited that it has opened. It took a whole lot to bring that project, to lift that project off the ground, since you had to remove literally some mountains and
some valleys, span 2 rivers, remove a church, remove a cemetery, over 120 homes. So yeah, we literally had to move mountains to get it. But it's a project, it was a chicken and egg situation. You wanted investors to come in, but they were saying, well, it makes no sense to invest because how are you going to get your passengers there? And then you want to build the airport, but build it for what? Because you don't have the room capacity. So the government took a very strong stance in making sure that they needed to construct this airport, and give credit to the government and what they did to make this a reality for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Where does that put Arnisville?
Arnisville is fully closed now. For those who don't know, St. Vincent and the Grenadines has 5 airports, the largest of which is Argyle International Airport, another one on Beache, Mustique, Canawan, and Union Island. The new Argyle International Airport also has the second longest runway in the English-speaking Caribbean right now.
It's also solar.
Some of it, no, not all of it is solar. We're moving towards solar. We have a lot of projects coming up in terms of solar. We have a geothermal project coming up, which is partly funded by the Clinton Foundation out of the United States. So we have a lot of things going on that will really move St. Vincent and the Grenadines forward.
Where are you in terms of the cruise industry?
Well, we grew by about 100,000 passengers this year, and we're hoping by next year we'll be doing another 130,000 passengers. I think you'll see, especially with the airport now on stream, a lot of different things open up for us in terms of marketing and everything, because now we can have a call to action. We can actually use St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a home port or partial home port for some of the cruise ships now, because the airport is only about 20-25 minutes, approximately 20-25 minutes outside of Kingstown, so in very close proximity.
Let's switch topics a bit. Liat. A number of our small destinations rely on Liat, and Liat has its challenges. Are there any discussions in the works, any discussions going on right now in terms of addressing some of those critical issues?
I wouldn't be able to say. I'm no longer a minister, but I can say this, yeah. And we still look, not because we have the international airport, Liat is still a major player within St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We're one of the main shareholders. And the simple thing is this, we're Caribbean people. The Caribbean needs to look at this. Liat has its issues, nobody's denying that. It has a lot of issues that need to be corrected. But I think the Caribbean also has to look at it this way. Nearly every Caribbean country subsidizes other airlines to come into their country. What is so hard in putting some money into your own regional airline? Is it that we still have an inferiority complex in terms of these sort of things? Because you can't expect Liat to serve everybody, not getting any help from the other Caribbean countries, and yet still do what is expected. If you want to have a say at that table, if you don't want to be an investor or a shareholder, at least give it market support like what you do with other airlines to come into your destination. And nobody can say that, well, it's only regional. Regional travel, and anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, plays a big part in our tourism figures. Everybody in the Caribbean, every Caribbean national wants to visit every Caribbean country. When you put, for example, our numbers together, when you put Barbados and Trinidad together especially, when you combine those numbers, it almost comes up to what you're getting out of the US and the UK and Canada. So the numbers are big for us, and interregional travel is very big for us, and we really have to look at it and see how we can develop it more and make it more accessible for our citizens.
Well, yes, the conversation has been that, yes, regional travel is critical, or interregional travel is critical to our destinations. But yes, there's no target initiative to target those other countries within the Caribbean. Folks come for Carnival, etc. You know, Trinidad has Carnival, they go. You have Vinci Mass, they go for Vinci Mass. Barbados has Crop Over. But is there a sustainable effort to attract interregional travel to the Caribbean?
From St. Vincent and the Grenadines, yeah, there's a sustainable effort for it. And I think there's a sustainable effort for most Caribbean countries because it plays such a big part in it. I mean, I can tell you for Liat, where Liat used to make its money, a lot of its money is between Barbados, Trinidad, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, right? A lot of other Caribbean countries want more flights out of Liat. Fair enough. Give it some market support. Do something. Make some deals with them. Lower your tax base in terms of to get into your country to make those tickets cheaper. But if you want that, it can't be that we're only going to give the North American and European carriers some sort of support. We have to give our regional carriers some support. But that's something that the policymakers and the governments are going to have to look at and see what's the best way forward.
Yeah, but part of Liat's argument has been, does it make sense for me to leave Barbados as an example? Drop off 6 people in St. Vincent, the Grenadines, St. Lucia, doesn't matter the destination, and pick up 2.
Well, listen, the most expensive part of running an airline is landing and taking off. The problem in the Caribbean is as soon as you take off, it's nearly time to land. It's not like a 4-hour flight from Barbados to New York or something like that. It's from St. Vincent to St. Lucia is 22 minutes. St. Vincent to Grenada might be 23. St. Vincent to Barbados is 25. So they're very short flights, which is very hard on the plane. Now, yes, in terms of the numbers going from each Caribbean country to another, some of them might be small, but most of the time they're not. What is hindering is the cost of interregional travel. And that's not Liat's fault completely. A lot of it has to do with oil prices. But going on beyond that, when you look at a Liat ticket and you go to the bottom, around approximately 56% of the cost of that ticket are the government taxes. Now, government has to make its money also and get their money from somewhere. But there has to be, in my opinion, a balance there in terms of, because if the fares are so high that it's hindering interregional travel, then we have a problem.
Is that part of the conversation when stakeholders get together and discuss the whole Liat issue?
Yeah, I mean, stakeholders are always upset about Liat. If it's not for one thing, it's for another. I don't think that some of the issues that stakeholders blame Liat for, I don't think they are fair. I think a lot of times we only hear about the negative of Liat, but there are a lot of positives for Liat also. I mean, we've had EC Express came in against Liat. They folded, private sector. Caribbean Star by a billionaire came in. They folded. And that should tell you how difficult it is to run an airline like Liat, where there are a lot of short drops. So, I mean, yeah, the stakeholders are going to complain, but I think we're also stuck in a place where, especially with social media, and I think in every Caribbean island now, every Caribbean island has so many radio stations compared to the 70s and 80s, and I'm showing my age there, that it's easy to complain and only show the negative aspects of it, but we have to show the positive aspects of it. And I go back to it. I'm not saying Liat doesn't have its issues. It has a lot of issues, but there are a lot of positives about it also.
Okay, here in North America, the question is always asked. Every Caribbean destination is beautiful. Beautiful beaches, nice people, nice and friendly people. What makes St. Vincent stand out from the rest of the territories?
I mean, what makes St. Vincent and the Grenadines stand out?
St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
It's simple. It's the diversity of the product. You know, everybody talks about their people. Everybody, everybody's going to give you that answer. The diversity of St. Vincent and the Grenadines makes it unique. and it's arguably the most diverse destination in the Caribbean. There are only 2 destinations in the Caribbean that could possibly come up against St. Vincent and the Grenadines in terms of diversity. That's Jamaica and Bahamas. The only 2. And I say possibly. And what makes us so unique is that the 32 islands and keys, right? But it's not just 32 islands and keys. And we're not all coral islands. You have St. Vincent, which is the mainland, which is a volcanic island. And then you have the other 31 islands of the Grenadines, which are coral islands. So we have 4 main niche markets: sailing and yachting, diving, romance, and eco-adventure tourism. Sailing and yachting is our biggest. Whether it's for the amateur or the professional, there's always an island in your eyesight. So it makes it quite unique in terms of that. You have the diving. On mainland St. Vincent, because it's a volcanic island, you have the cliff diving and you have the small critters. And some of the critters you can only be found in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Then you go down to the Grenadines, you have the coral islands where you're diving with the turtles, sharks, sunken treasure, and sea wrecks and so on. So you have both types of diving in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. There's no other Caribbean country that offers that. You have the romance. St. Vincent and the Grenadines actually has 3 island resorts: Young Island, Palm Island, and Petit St. Vincent. And there are a few more to come on stream, hopefully sooner rather than later. You also have the ecotourism, because St. Vincent is a volcanic island, a lot of nature trails, the Amazonia Gildingi, which is our local parrot, which can only be found in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So a lot of unique things about it. And what carries it even further is that because of the diversity of the product, those 4 niche markets I called out, those are the ones we've chosen to really advertise. There are a lot of others, and not just that we have a lot of others, but of good quality. But we have to decide what our strengths are and not water it down a bit. So that's what makes us unique. Hard to beat us, and with Argyle International Airport on right now, it's going to be hard to touch us in the future.
What carriers are presently coming into Argyle?
Well, we've just announced Air Canada Rouge, which will be coming in from December 14. Caribbean Airlines will start coming in with their ATRs. Hopefully sooner rather than later we'll also have some major announcements with them. And we have about 2 other major announcements to make later on this year.
Well, it sounds like you're giving me a pitch for a personal invitation to St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
But you might not want to leave.
I know, I'm afraid. Thank you very much.